Me, and I think for any creative person, you can name it religion, but I think it's more spiritual. So spiritual is the right word because religion has different connotations, and this spirituality, this like a beautiful saying that I heard, and which is, I mean, the most beautiful, truest thing I ever heard about music. That the next thing, which is closest thing to silence of this universe is music. The closest thing we can come to silence is music. So
it's fascinating you say that because typically they are seen as belonging on other sides of the spectrum, right?
Yes, yeah, but the fascination and the mysticism of silence, जो नाद ब्रह्म की हम ओम की जो बात करते हैं कि जो एक इस कायनात की जो एक आवाज है, वो जो है वो संगीत उसके सबसे ज्यादा पास उसके पहुंचता है साउंड में, और कोई चीज नहीं है जो उसके पास इतना पहुंचती है. तो वो आई थिंक क्योंकि one thing which I have to keep shifting to English because
no, don't worry about it. I caught that entirely. I understood that.
Yeah, मुझे पहले ही सुधीर ने डरा दिया कि मैं हिंदी में बिल्कुल नहीं बात करूंगा.
No, I will understand what you're saying as long as you don't necessarily get too literary on me.
No, but I think we can जहाँ अपने आप आएगी हिंदी आ जाएगी. But that one thing we all feel, creative people, and again I'm saying we because I think we all go through this, that when a good thing happens, when a good tune happens, I never felt that I composed it. I always feel that it has come from somewhere. I'm not capable of doing it. I'm not capable of doing it. And whenever bad thing happened, that happened because of me. Yeah, because I entered in that, I poked myself into that I couldn't make a connection. So that connection with the higher energy, I'll say not even God or anything, that there is a higher energy which transcends you, which it's like Kantara.
Can I ask you something obscure then? Is there a way that you make yourself accessible to that energy? Do you feel like in certain phases of your life you're not quite receiving these tracks that you say flow through you?
No, this it's a combination of various things that like you can't force yourself to be innocent, no? That I want to be, you can't force yourself. It's either that innocence flowers in you. वो कहीं से आपकी खुशबू निकलती है, आप फोर्स करके तो नहीं निकाल सकते. To go into that state of being, and that's where all the meditations and and जो प्रेम और भक्ति का मार्ग जो भी हम बोलते हैं, वो तो we all creative people, we keep looking for that state. We want to bring us to that state, and after and we all find our different processes. Ajnish must be having a different process for that. I have my own process, which over the years, which I have realized that I compose best when I have beaten somebody in a tennis game. And so I'm at my best, and if I have walked for 1.5 hours, I have a home in Missouri, so I go over there, and I go very early in the morning for a walk. So people in पहाड़ों में जल्दी जगते नहीं हैं, तो for kilometers, I find no one, only some kids going to school, and I sing aloud in those mountains. And now, because now I'm doing it for past 10 years, so now they know when they hear my voice, they know that madman is coming. But so I found that process, when that abundance is there, when I'm not conscious of anything, and when I'm not trying to compose something great, I'm just trying to explode. And that I'm not even trying is again a wrong word. If you try, it doesn't happen. It happens on its own. So I have realized, when I play a lot, like 1.5 hours, and in that also, if I get beaten, that's the ego. If I get beaten in the game, I'm not able to make a good song. But if I'm up like by 5-2, 5-3. So even while doing a serve, there's a phrase coming in my head. So
Please tell us who that partner is. We'll all convince them to keep losing.
Sir, I have never credited myself to Kantara 1 because even for chapter 1, I know I had a base of Kantara part 1 which came, but I have in every function I have never thought it I have done so. I am so happy to be on this as a music director because I don't know how it happens, and when I'm if at all I want to try composing a new another version of Varaha Rupam, it's not possible.
Yeah, recreating is always a problem, because that's how even in life, if we have got a pleasure for one thing, we want that pleasure again and again and again. So we go on recreating, and that's where we remain connected to
And it's never the same, is it?
It's never the same, yeah. So I always try to avoid that. Though we always get references of our own work, but then you have to filter it that because the director is not educated musically, or whosoever is asking for you to make that. So but when it's a recreation like official recreation, so I have succeeded once, and that nobody knows that Hantenen was a recreation of my own song, which I did for a TV serial in 1999 or 98. It was for a short film called Hantenen. Yeah, so I made that song, but for many years I kept feeling that the justice has not been done to this phrase. And again, I was trying to prove something when I was doing that song, and let me tell you some inner things that. When we feel insecure, we start raising the tempo of the songs. Yeah, to impress the director, because everyone comes, most of the times, that we want a song on which people can dance. So mostly because when the songs are hit in a party, so that's where it's yeah. So I realized that what wrong I was doing when I was doing it in 98. So like 10 years later in 2008 or 9, then I thought that now I can be very you have to be very instinctively spontaneous when you are doing this thing, and then you have to remain glued to, it's very difficult because when the first time our spontaneity comes and instinctively we feel something is good, and now the song recording is a process, because if I have composed a tune now, maybe I'll be recording that after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and because then the lyricist is writing over that, we are thinking what kind of instrumentation or orchestration we'll have that, and with me at least 90% times it happens that by the time we reach to the recording, we have lost the beautiful fragrance which we had while composing. So I always go back to that first day, that what kind of feeling I got in my heart or in my head that when I composed that song. So sometimes you scrap what the too much ornamentation and बहुत ज़्यादा सजाने से वो होता ना कि खूबसूरत अगर लड़की है तो एक बिंदी ही काफी है, उसे शायद उसकी भी जरूरत नहीं है. So जितना कम गहना है उतना वो ज़्यादा खूबसूरत लगेगी.
Actually, I always go and never give that track sing with the lyrics to the singers. What I have sung while composing, I make sure that I'll play to the singer the same thing. Then I give the lyrics. Listen to this and please sing whatever I have sung in the track. That's absolutely right what Vishal sir told.
Because we were talking about the track. The beginning of the track reminded me of that bit in the beginning of Pulp Fiction, Mr. Was which that track itself was based on a 50s or 60s.
Yeah, some Black Eyed Pea, you know that is.
Pump It, I think. Yeah. Was what's happening
No,
there?
no, it was not a conscious thing. I think it just accidentally, you know, because I was not producing that song. I had a music producer. So, but I don't think it was a very intentional thing, and it was just a little phrase.
Can we talk about this then? I mean, with that song, we are talking about a human voice that almost acts like an instrument, right? And this is a quality in many of your songs. Even BD that we were talking about, it has that quality as well. I was talking to this Tamil composer Santosh Narayan, and he spoke about voice as an instrument almost. He wasn't necessarily seeing a difference between the human voice and instruments. And I thought maybe I could talk to you both about how you see the voice.
Yes, of course. The voice is actually it comes from the necessity. While composing, if you are not you want some phrases like if for example, if you take tan ta da, if you just play in a keyboard like tan ta dang tang 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 tang, it will be there. But with that emotion, it will come. No, it comes with the voice. And I feel that tan ta da, I think we will use an everyday tan ta da, and I came home. So it was so regularly used word at homes and everywhere. So that's where that in BD Jalen, so those are the things. Everybody would hum those in that sound when it comes to this thing. So like that, the voices are very necessarily. Sometimes we will sing and give it to instrumentalist, and they might not get what we want when they play. I always end up using the voices. For example, in Kirik Patti, if it's instrument, you don't get that joy because of that word. So we get that feel, and the people able to connect with the children. Everybody will get connected with that. So voice is a very powerful thing. We can use it very effectively in a song to express ourselves.
Vishalji, is that why you use the voice as you do?
Like, as he said, Dhantadhan is the phrase from our culture only, that since childhood, if anything dramatic happens, and, kahani bhi sunate ho, aur wahan se aaya Dhantadhan. And that was, I think, the background score in 60s, 70s, they all used to have this Dhantadhan, so I think this is the film has given this phrase to our tradition. It has come from our films, this phrase, and it has been used so many times in so many different ways, so many different instruments, that it has somehow entered in our culture, in our system. So whenever we are saying something, what is filmy is a little drama, is little heightened. So whenever we do, like he said, ta-da, I'm home, I'm back home. So it became like that, and that remained with me that it's such a lovely phrase that we should make a song on it.
How do you see the music of different languages affecting the emotion of what you do?
Because I've been working in different languages lately, and the same song is dubbed in all other 5 languages. But always, very few songs get that attention. For example, the Karma song, whichever the language we have dubbed, in all the language it has connected to the people. But some songs, people don't get connected with the other languages. Languages has that great influence when it comes to the nativity of the language, because when you compose a nice Telugu Kannada song and it is dubbed, people may not like in Telugu, but they will make sure they'll like the Kannada language itself. They will listen to the Kannada language, but they don't, the same song they don't listen in this thing. So every language has one tempo to it, and the listener's taste also differs. They might there is a speed, tempo, and so that is there when you compose to the each languages.
Can I probably try and ask you whether it can be simplified further? Would you think that certain emotions are communicated better in certain languages? Do you associate the sound of it like that?
No, I think sound of the language is the thing over here. So when like it's like the the language you speak. I speak Hindi, Urdu. So the connotations of the textures of that language, where while I am composing, it comes very naturally to me. So when, like, most of the times Guldar Sahab has changed the words, and when he changed the word, it's every word has its own character in a tune. Like I give you an example. There was a song Goli Maar Bheje Mein in film Satya long back. So that's where my words were different. It was Jab talak rahenge hum, tab talak piyenge hum, and he wrote Goli maar bheje. It's the same meter. Goli maar bheje mein. And now when this came, then the sound came. So that language starts, guiding you. So this is a very straight example. I'll think of because it has happened because I have gone through this. So when I am working in a different language, and I have only worked in a different language, is Malayalam, and I got actually the state award for music for Carbon. And
some great tracks in Carbon, if some of you haven't heard it.
Yeah, but before that, I take so much pride in saying that I worked with Mr. M.T. Vasudevan Nair and Mr. O.N.V. Kurup in a film called Daya, long back, which Venu directed. So that's where, so I still cannot judge because, so of course, O.N.V. sir, he was writing on my tunes. And all the singers who knew language, they were coming in. But still, there's one thing happens which is beyond explanation. That when a song, when a tune and lyrics, when they get married, and when they become one, it becomes like one soul. The two different things comes and they merge into each other. And then you can't separate them. That you just can't separate. So that kind of synergy and the combination and the mixture of these energy, mix of these energy was happening or not. So I asked him after 2 songs that can I do one thing? You write one song in Malayalam and then I'll compose. So he said, but it's easier for me that it's easier for the project that you compose the tune and I write, because then. So I said, no, I want to feel this language, what this language is. So there was one song which Chitraji sang in that Shardendu Neidu 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 Nivarti. So that still I remember, because when he wrote, for 2 days I kept sitting with him. I was like a school mein ratta marte hain. Shardendu Neidu Neidu. Abhi bhi some people from Kerala are sitting over here. Please pardon me for this. But whether I'm saying it right or not, that I still remember. It's more than 27 years that 25 years that, but I still have that, because I sat and composed that, and I kept asking them whether I'm pronouncing it, because when we sing, we stretch a word, we stretch R's or A's, and so sometimes, not sometimes, like in that language, I don't know can I stretch this or not. Like in my own language, I know that अगर खुशियाँ हैं तो मैं खुशी को नहीं कर सकता हूँ, मैं स्ट्रेच आई कैन डू खुशियाँ को कर सकता हूँ, क्योंकि खुशी को कर दिया तो उसका दैट विल हैव अ डिफरेंट थिंग. So I think language is definitely very important. It's very important, and in many languages, when we get the dubbed songs, sometimes it feels very odd, because they, I don't know, Ajnish, it happening with you or not, but when they take our song for the different language, some other person is getting them dubbed,
Yes.
and some
Yes.
we are not even there. So it becomes when it comes, when your song come. No, I'm not saying Kantara. When the song from other language comes into Hindi, 50% times it feels odd because the original composer or the original creator of that tune was not there. He wouldn't have let that happen.
I mean, do you wanna? Is there more to be said about this word? And the singer almost seems in love with the word while they're singing it.
Yeah, actually that वो एक बड़ा अच्छा शेर है कि वो इत्रदान सा लहजा मेरे बुजुर्गों का. I'll explain it to you, but इत्रदान मतलब ये जो सेंट जहाँ जिसमें हम इत्र रखते हैं, वो इत्रदान सा लहजा मेरे बुजुर्गों का, रची बसी हुई उर्दू जबान की खुशबू. तो जो उर्दू जबान की जो खुशबू है वो ऐसी है जैसे जो इत्र कहीं कोई हवा में बिखेर दे. वो साउंड की एक ऐसी खूबसूरत है, उर्दू इतनी नफासत के साथ उस लैंग्वेज का है. तो वो हमेशा जैसे ये उल जलूल इश्क है या खामखा है, तो ये हम लोग डेली लाइफ में यूज करने वाले वर्ड हैं. उल जलूल तो हमारे नॉर्थ में इतना यूज होता है कि उल जलूल इस मतलब बहुत ही उलझा हुआ बेकार सी बात, और पर फिर भी उसमें एक स्माइल रहती है. इट्स नॉट नेगेटिव कि बड़ी उल जलूल सी बातें कर रहा है यार, ये इस तरह का यूज होता है. ऐसे इश्क आई मीन खामखा में वैसे यूज होता है. वन सॉन्ग आई रिमेम्बर इन विच इवन आई डिडंट नो, ये नहीं कि मैं कोई ज्ञानी हूँ, मतलब पर मुझे लगता है कि हाँ मैं लैंग्वेज को अच्छे समझता हूँ. तो हम गाना इश्किया में वी वर मेकिंग दैट सॉन्ग ऑफ द ट्रेवलर सॉन्ग इन विच सो I told Guldar Sahab that we get the signs on the roads कि मोड़ के आगे इस स्पीड ब्रेकर है जिसको गति कि इधर देख के मुड़े, आगे गतिरोधक है. Yeah, so all those kind of signs कि दुर्घटना से देर भली है. तो I told him this is so fascinating that एक तो they are so much in शुद्ध हिंदी कि जो पढ़ते हैं तो पढ़ के हंसी आ जाती है कि आगे तीव्र मोड़ है, जरा आगे तेज गतिरोधक है, जरा देख के मुड़े, और ये दुर्घटना से देर भली, घर पे आपका कोई इंतजार कर रहा है. तो इस तरह के ये सब लिखे रहते. तो आई टोल्ड गुलजार साहब लेट्स मेक ए ट्रेवलर सॉन्ग बिकॉज द सिचुएशन वाज द टू कैरेक्टर्स फॉर ट्रेवलिंग फ्रॉम वन पॉइंट टू द अदर पॉइंट. So I told him that let's make this traveler song, and these are the phrases I want to use through the song. So Guldar Sahab said, yeah, it's a very good idea. Do you have a tune? So I told him, I am not getting hold of any rough or any stupid expression for which I can just hold on to and make a phrase. So he said, okay, I'll give you a phrase. So one morning, I was coming back from my tennis, I remember. And he gave me this line, beautiful line, that Ibn Battuta बगल में जूता पहने तो करता है चुर. So, मैंने अपनी गाड़ी रोकी और मैं साइड में खड़ा हुआ, गाड़ी साइड में रखी. मैंने आपने क्या बोला? तो उन्होंने बोला कि ये वो जब बचपन में स्कूल में तो इब्ने बतूता बगल में जूता पहन तो करता है चुर. सो आई सेड इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? तो इब्ने बतूता मतलब जो वो थे ट्रेवलर थे, और तो उसके लिए बच्चे गाते थे कि उनकी बगल में जूता है और वो पहनते हैं तो चुर करता है. अब इब्ने बतूता का मतलब, उसमें इब्ने का मतलब होता है कि इब्ने बतूता मतलब बतूता का बेटा. So I didn't know कि इब्ने means son है. That जो even he was Batuta. Ibn Battuta was Battuta's son, and he was a traveler. So his name is Ibn Battuta. So that's how this, the sound actually they like चप्पा चप्पा चरखा चले जैसे बना है. So इसका गुलजार साहब said कि it should feel like कि हमने folk में से कुछ लिया है. But we have to make our own because whatever we were trying to make in marches, all the Punjabi folk phrases, they have been used. So he said that we should have something very new, but still it should feel that it has come out from folk. So one day, I was at his house and he came to drop me, and we were talking about the song, and he said, it should be like कि गोरी चटखोरी जो कटोरी से खिलाती थी, जुम्मे के जुम्मे जो सुर में लगाती थी. So he just said, and I have very good memory of remembering lines. If someone, just tells me one share, I remember that. I used to, at least. Now I'm thoda sa kam ho raha hai mera. But so मुझे वो गाना, मुझे उन्होंने जो बोला था याद रहा मुझे. And then I made that कि गोरी चटखोरी जो कटोरी से खिलाती थी, जुम्मे के जुम्मे जो सुर में लगाती थी. So I made that, and I made that as पल्लवी मुखड़े की तरह उसको. So and he heard it, and he said it's very good, but it feels like charanam, it feels like antra, it doesn't feel like. And I was puzzled that how, because I think this is a very good mukhda कि गोरी चटखोरी जो कटोरी से खिलाती थी. It's a way. उन्होंने बोला yeah, but it's missing. It should come to like, we should have a sound like chappa chappa charkha chale. He just said it like this. He's a genius. He's a god of lyrics. He's a great poet. And yeah, I mean he's so spontaneous. And these are my experiences which I have lived for past 35 years. I am living those phases, these phases. He just said chappa chappa charkha chale, and I said this is the line. So he said, yeah, it's sounding very nice. So then he said, then this should be your antara. कि गोरी चटखोरी जो कटोरी से खिलाती थी, जुम्मे के जुम्मे जो सुर में लगाती थी, कच्ची बुडेर के तले, चप्पा चप्पा चरखा चले. So, so this is how every song, it's like you are making a baby. And you are giving birth to a baby, then आप उसके कपड़े बना रहे हो, आप उसका स्वेटर बना रहे हो, फिर आप उसको सजाते हो, फिर आप बाहर लेके आते हो. It's like giving birth to a baby.
Now, given the kind of responses coming from the audience, and including now, your children are definitely in very safe hands with us, I think.
And many times, whichever the phrase I compose as a pallavi, sir, as a mukkada, it end up become charanam in most of the things, because the most toughest part for me to compose is the opening of the pallavi. I always struggle there. I compose the hook phrases or the whatever it may be. Then what I do is I always end up making anupallavi as the opening of the pallavi. Then somewhat do some circus there. Then I go to the main phrase and end the pallavi. I can so much relate with you, so many things what you are saying. So
as Mani sir says, we all are like the fellow sufferers.
yes.
Yeah, we are in that train of suffering.
Yes. Until a song comes out, it's absolute suffering for us.
How did you manage to retain the truth of their way of life while also trying to make it as vast as possible?
Yeah, actually, if you see, it comes from the folk of the land there, because I would say the entire credit goes to the folk of the land, because I have heard so many folk musicians there. They call as Pari Hadodu, they'll say. The chants they sing, everything. So everything I've heard, what I've heard, I've taken inside me, and I've tried to give it back in a more cinematic way. So that's why, because I always feel folk music comes from innocence. It's not calculated, or no, it's not practiced in your mind. It just came from their life. It comes from innocence. So I just try to just show the mirror what I've heard, what I've felt. I just take an insight, try to give that back in the film in a more cinematic way.
Talk about a country which is a combination of so many different varieties of sounds and cultures and ideas as well. So I wondered what you both would think of something that's an Indian sound.
I mean, if you are asking from the West point of view, so their idea of Indian music is very, very odd. You know, when you see a Bond film, they get a sitar or tabla to play in a very funny way, which we never play like that. It's very funny. Yeah, you want to say?
Yes, actually, in fact, the Bond music was inspired from sitar music.
Yeah, and it's so bad. I mean, they use some kind of recorded loop which is so basic, and some tabla. They think that tabla is the sound of India. So India, you can't define. You know, in one sound you can't define India. It's a combination of so many sounds. I mean, forget about one state. In one state, like you go to UP, or I'm sure it must be same in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu and everywhere. In every 100 kilometers, the dialect changes. Their folk, a different folk song will come, or if a folk song will come, Chadiya da Chamba will have a different connotation in UP. You go Holi ka music kuch aur ho jayega, you know, the song on the birth, and this doesn't stop in one state. It goes so, there's so many when you say, and जो सामने आता है वो तो हमारे पॉपुलर म्यूजिक आ रहा है ना, बट आप पहाड़ में जाइए, वहां पे एक ही पहाड़ी वो इतनी तरीके से गाया जाता है. इनफैक्ट वर्ल्ड ओवर आई थिंक द फोक म्यूजिक में हम 3-4 फॉर्म ही मिलती हैं कि एक किरवानी का कोई वो मिलेगा आपको, और एक पहाड़ी का मिलेगा, और एक भैरवी का मिलेगा. ये 3-4 स्केल्स के अंदर पूरे वर्ल्ड का फोक म्यूजिक आ जाता है. तो कहीं एक है, कहीं हम सब लोग एक ही सोर्स से कनेक्टेड हैं, हम सब लोग वर्ल्ड ओवर. बट ये है कि हमारा कल्चर म्यूजिक का इतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग और इतना ज़्यादा वास्ट है, और इतना ज़्यादा इन डेप्थ है हमारे यहाँ. हमारे जो फोक से ही हमारा क्लासिकल बना है. क्लासिकल के हमारे 10 थाट में हजारों राग. कर्नाटक म्यूजिक में तो श्रुतियों पे जो काम होता है फिर वो तो मतलब अलग ही लेवल का है. कितनी श्रुतियाँ उसमें आ जाती हैं. तो इतना माइन्यूट काम हुआ है. हम लोग तो कहाँ, हम लोग स्टूडियो में रिकॉर्ड करके हम लोग तो उसको जो एक्चुअली जिन लोगों ने पहली बार जो ढूंढा होगा सा से सा तक का सफर, सा रे गा मा पा धा नि सा, कि यहाँ इसी में ही पूरा संसार है पूरे म्यूजिक का, और इसी में ही 3 कोमल और 1 तीव्र लगा के उसके बाद तो श्रुतियां तो बाद में आई होंगी. पर ये जो था कि ये 7 शुरू में स्केल में एक पूरा संसार है, पूरी कायनात है म्यूजिक की. तो ये कैसे, इस पे तो मैं कभी कभी सोचता हूँ तो बहुत डिस्कशन होते होंगे ना. कोई कहता होगा कि नहीं 7 नहीं 8 है, कोई वहाँ झगड़े होते होंगे, पर फाइनली एक कंसेंसस होके हुआ होगा कि ये है जिसमें से. तो इट्स सच ए ह्यूज हिस्ट्री, आई मीन विच इज unimaginable.
I need a 5-minute track that communicates the spirit of India. What would you tell that filmmaker? Is that even conceivable, possible? What?
No, we should show him Mile Sur Mere Tumhara. No, it's very tough to put everything in one thing, because each and every, for example, when I was recording the percussion people, there is a Koraga community in the coastal Karnataka. They were playing, and everybody, if one guy starts one pattern, everybody's they are going to start that. And I asked, why you are playing this pattern? No, this is called as Darshana Tak. What is Darshana Tak? So no. When we are playing, when the God is revealed, we play this pattern. And they communicate with their dole pattern to the next village and next village. A particular pattern when they played, and the next village will know, oh, somebody is dead in that village. So that's how they communicate here. And some pattern they played, they come to know, so some girl has getting marriage happening in these places. So that is how they communicate. Even now they communicate. If they have the phone, everything. So like that only. So I took all the patterns and made sure that whenever the good things happens in Kantara, I've used the same tak, Darshana Tak. And whenever somebody is dead in Kantara, when the Rishabh's mother is dead, I made sure that what they played there in there. So like that, and it's very very tough, and you don't understand that until unless once you get to know why they are playing that, no, and uska maza hi alag hai. you'll feel wonder, wow, what, in which level they are communicating through music. What we are not doing nothing in cities.